YouTube. Hey YouTube. I just want to thank the viewer that sent Bullseye a box of bones. Obviously he likes it. So thank you for that. I don't mention names because I don't know if somebody feels embarrassed or not, but either way, thank you very much. And I'm sure Bullseye's thanking you in his own little way there. So guys, you know I made these spacers for the tractor, and I'm about ready to start working on this tractor here. The problem is I needed some longer studs because the studs that were originally with the tractor were too short. Now this is an oddball size, and I haven't been able to find any bolts like this without having to order them, especially the grade 8 lug nut or lug bolt that you would want. But anyway, so what I did was the other day at Napa, I actually ordered studs, and I figured I'd just drill out these threads because these are actually the same exact thread that's there. Not too keen on that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill out the threads and then just press these studs into there. And regardless of whether I use the spacers or not, these will always work. So thinking I'm going to go with that, since I picked up the box of them today, and then I have the lug nuts to go with those studs. It's actually a pain trying to put the tire on these tractors because there's no hub there to hold the center of the the center circle. So you got to kind of hang it on a bolt first, and then get one bolt started, and then move the tire to try to get it on. I think the studs will make it a lot easier to put the tires on, for one thing. So I'm going to probably be working on that. Got to figure out what size to drill this thing. Okay guys, so what I got here is, you see the stud there. So what I did was I used this caliper to measure, and I've got 0.485 for the outside of the serrated piece here. So that means I need a hole that's slightly smaller than that. It doesn't have to be a lot. So I have a bunch of drill bits, all kind of sizes, but what I did was I found this one here, and it's new, so it's going to cut the holes pretty good. This is 0.468, so that gives me around 20 thousandths, 10 thousandths on each side of the circle, naturally, to be able to drill those out. Now I did drill one out, and then what I did was I took a flat heavy washer, and then I put the lug nut on backwards, and I just put my air gun on it and drew it in that way. They may not be perfectly flat in here because the back of this plate is a little bit rough. I may end up having to do something with this, because I actually have these holes drilled pretty close to the 7/16 that the bolt hole would be. But I'll check it and see. It won't be a big deal if I have to drill the spacer hole slightly bigger anyway. So that's how I'm going to fix this. Instead of trying to buy bolts that and like I said, it's harder to put the wheel on because there's nothing for it to hang on to until you get a bolt started. So this way here I'll be able to just push the wheels right onto the studs. So that's how I'm going to fix that. You can hear the air leaking on my gun here. I'm going to have to replace all these chucks soon. I didn't realize just how much they're leaking until I was fooling with that plasma cutter. Okay, anyway, so here's the stud. I drilled this hole out. All I did was took the drill a hole out, put that stud in. I'm going to put a heavy flat washer on there just to help to keep this from doing anything that it shouldn't do. Grab another lug nut here. I'm putting the lug nut on backwards so I don't do anything to that tapered edge. So that's all there is to it. Just drill it out slightly smaller than the serrated head size, and then just, you know, you can pull the studs in that way. You could probably hammer them in, or you could use some kind of a clamp to pull them in, but this works easy and it's not putting any pressure on the gears inside the differential there or anything. So, seems to be working good. That's what I'm going to continue on with. Okay guys, so I have all of the studs in, and this is a dead blow hammer. All it is it's mainly rubber, and there's a weight inside there. I don't know what size this, or what weight, or 28 ounces. So, you know, you want to use something like this when you're not wanting to bend anything. And you can see how, you know, accurately the lathe indexed those holes on there. I mean, that's a pretty nice fit. So it shouldn't give me any grief wobbling around or anything like that, as long as I get it all the way on there. The further down you go, naturally it's got to be more exact because of where the bolts come through the axle house, or the axle, but either way I can pull that on when I tighten that up. Well, there we are. Not too bad. So, it should be really easy now to put the wheels onto that thing. You know, when you get older, really, and I'm not using this as an excuse, but as you get older, anything at all that makes life a little bit easier is actually worth doing. Whew. So there we go. That made that. See, I'm out of breath, guys. Whew. Hang in there. The way that goes on there, you know, because the tractor's separated, it's hard to teeter-totter this rear end here on that jack. But what I'm getting at is this makes life a whole lot easier because I'm not trying to put one bolt in, hold the tire exactly. So this way I can just slip it on there just like any other tire and be done with it. So that worked good. I'm going to put the studs or the nuts on there, and then I'm going to go around to the other side and do the same thing. Okay, so they're tightened down there, and you can see there's not very much bolt shining through or sticking through there. The nice thing about that, having that extra bolt, is I was actually considering putting a wheel winch. In other words, make a cone to come out from the wheel with you could wrap a rope around it and use the tractor to pull things for me. So now this tractor isn't really heavy, so it wouldn't be able to pull a lot of stuff. That's something in the future I was just thinking about. Well, it took me about half an hour or so to put that wheel on there and drill all them holes out, and this guy is totally busy. The thing is I have the garage door open today because it's actually so nice out. It's 51 degrees, I believe, and I don't even have a fire going today. But normally he'd be at the door here if he wasn't interested in something else, looking out. So again, thank you for that. He's really going to town on it. Now Bullseye, just for a little bit of information, Bullseye is a bird dog, okay? And when you're training a bird dog, you don't want him to, you know, get a bird in his mouth after you've shot it and destroy it. So what you do is, it's called hard mouth, and you need to not have that on a bird dog. The good thing about Bullseye here is he was such a good dog when I first got him from the kennel I got him from. The breeder, the guy breeds Brittany bird dogs, that he understands the difference between something like, he knows that this is a bone and he can chew on it, and he knows not to chew on a bird. And it's nice that when you can train the dog to do that, although, you know, I can't take all the credit. I think the dog actually had it in him. Well, he's busy. Well guys, I guess Murphy's Law, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. So I took that other wheel off on the opposite side there, as you can see, and now I can't get these in here because of this. So, not sure how this comes off. It doesn't look like it's real complicated. The way that this is moving here, I would say that you take these two nuts off of this thing. Let me see what you're seeing here. Take these two bolts out of here, and this may come right out of there. I'm not sure. So that's where we're headed next. Okay, so it looks, I loosened up those two bolts there, and you can see that this thing is wanting to come off of there. I don't know if there's something going on there. It should have come off by now, unless maybe the spindle is hammered down a little bit or something. Get a convincer to knock that off of there. I was hoping that pickle fork would work, but it's not going to. You would think that would just fall off of there. Isn't that something? I think that and the shaft must be pinned over or something a little bit. Now let me take a grinder. Oh boy, I don't really want to do that, but it might be my only way to get that off of there. I'll be back. So this is an outer tie rod tool. You can see it's fairly new. I don't even think I used it. What I did was when I built the frame on my 89, I bought a bunch of tools like this just in case I would need them, and this should pull this off of here. There it goes. So it was just a matter of this edge being burred a little bit, and I'll have to dress that up then. Let me put these these bolts back in here so I don't lose pieces, and hopefully that will slide right off. Not quite. I wonder if I can get the bolts in there. I don't think so. going to go too crazy with this because I don't know what's in there. I know there's a seal there. If I could just get it open far enough to get the bolt behind there. Yeah, that's going to take quite a bit. Well, let me use this same puller to pull out on that a little bit. I just don't want to put a whole lot of pressure on it because I'm not sure what's going on here. If I have to, I mean, this thing comes apart. I'm not exactly sure what this does. I don't know if it's some kind of a gear reduction thing or some type of, or if this is what makes the differential work. There are bolts in there. Let me just see what I can do here. I don't even know if this will reach that far. There's no place, you know, anywhere around there. Yeah, it's just going to be just short enough. Too short, I guess. Okay. I just hope I'm not destroying this thing. I'm just going to snug up on it a little bit. I don't want it to go crazy with it. You can see it's coming off there pretty easily. I'm just going to go far enough that I can get the bolt in. Oh man, it's still, there's nowhere on there that I can actually get that on there. Wow. Well, it seems to be coming easy, so let's see what happens here. As long as I don't break anything, I can always fix, you know, some of this stuff. Some kind of a spline in there. I hope a whole bunch of bearings don't fall out of this thing. I don't want to go too much tighter than that. Oh man, if there was just one spot that I could get this in there. Well, I'm not sure what this is. This is some kind of a spline here, and I don't know if it can pull out or not. It looks like it wants to. Yeah, some kind of a planetary gear. I think that might be enough. Not quite. A little bit more yet. Well, now it's coming all the way out. Well, that's plenty far enough. Yeah, this is some kind of a gear here. There's gears around the inside of that. So I would imagine if I can just push this back in there, I'll be okay. I'm not going to try and pull this off because there's a little burr on the end of the shaft there, we know, and I don't want to goof up the inside of this thing or split anything. So I'm going to just take it that far, go ahead and drill out the bolt holes, get the studs in, and then push this thing back into place. So I should be alright with that. I'll be back. Okay, just for a little FYI, I put this paper towel around that planetary gear in there, and also this gear, so that I don't get anything from the drill falling down, because it's going to stick to that grease pretty easily. I think I'll put something around that shaft as well, and then I'm going to go ahead and drill them out. Okay guys, so what I got there is I had to take the set screws out of the collar there. I pushed that back in, it went back in very easily. I just had to get it to fit some of the teeth that were in there, and it went in without any trouble, no hammering or nothing like that. Now, I started to put this on and I gave it a couple bumps, but I don't really want to be hitting on this because of these gears that are in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the bolts to pull that on, and it won't be putting any pressure on anything inside there except for this plate. Okay, so I also, there was a grease fitting, where is it, right here, there was a threads there for a grease fitting that I had to take out. I don't know if there's going to be enough room to spin that back in there. No, so I'm going to have to put probably a straight fitting on there, which is going to make it hard to grease. But, hey, better than nothing. So, I'll just put a straight fitting in there. I guess I should have looked at this a little bit better. Oh, I wonder if I can take this end off here. Yeah, maybe I can take this apart. I think I can take the grease fitting here. Where are you? This little tip off. Screw that in and then screw that back on there. I don't know how tight it is. I'll get back to you. Okay guys, so you can see I couldn't get the 90-degree grease fitting back on there, but I managed to put a 45-degree in, so that's not bad. I don't know, I bought these things, I think that a selection of grease fittings, God knows if they'll work. I think I got this at Harbor Freight. I mean, grease fittings should, well, I don't even say it, but anyway, okay, so I got that in there. I'm going to put these back in, these set, or yeah, I can put these set screws in here, and then we'll put the tire on, the wheel. So, it came out pretty good. So far, so good. No big headaches. There's some minor stuff, but I would consider, as long as you have something solid to work with. I mean, this is an old tractor made in the U.S. It's got really made beefy. That's all I can say. It's got a lot going for it. I think this thing is actually worth fixing as well. No matter what the cost for this at this point, unless it's, if you're looking at thousands of dollars of repairs, I think altogether, I don't know, I probably have $1,200 into this tractor from various things, and it's still worth it to me because I want it to run like new. And I'm going to get it to do that. So far the motor seems good, so I don't have to replace the motor or anything in the tractor at this point. But we'll see. You know, I don't know how worn things are on it, and until it's, you know, until I actually get a chance to work on it, that's where I'm at. Or use it, I mean. So, you can see that right now, you're getting a heck of a rainstorm here. It was snowing 5 minutes ago. I had my hands full and I didn't get the camera out quick enough, but so I guess the upper atmosphere must be fairly cold yet. This weather has been insane. I have never, and I know I keep saying this, guys, I apologize, but I have never seen so much rain in so many consecutive days and stuff. It's just, we did have 2 nice sunny days, and I took advantage of the sun, and it was really nice to be out there, but wow. Well, anyway, at least we're in a nice dry spot. Are you done with your bone, or what? Huh? Are you done with your bone? How was that? Okay guys, so both those wheels are on there, and you can see that there's plenty of space now to be able to get a set of tire chains on there. This side's a lot better. I was actually gonna, it was almost hitting the that oil filter that's there before, so that's gonna work good. The studs worked good. And I didn't have a problem with them, and if I wouldn't have had to tear this down, I probably never would have made those spacers. But the chains are going to be better than the studs, that's for certain. And since I had to take it apart, I figured I may as well do it. So making those spacers was a good idea. And yeah, so I'm just about done for the day. I was doing more shopping, so I'm on my own for supper. Well, it looks like McDonald's, or yeah, I gotta drive a half an hour to get to McDonald's. I'm not driving nowhere. I guess toast. Have a good one. What in the world is this? What is in this box? Ah.